Another dark morning. Let's go. Tall clouds. Yeah, it's one of those days we have to turn the lights on inside the house, even though the sun is high in the sky. 2, 3, and we're out the door because the clouds are so thick today. Oh, there's a boom going by again. The Weymouth Big Dig. T-Rex, go check it out. Temperatures. How many times have we come out and the temperature's been right there so many days in a row? Yesterday it was actually closer to 32. It's 42, and we were in the 30s when the sun came up. It's 8:30 in the morning now on Thursday, April 3rd. Sorry, Rex. And let's see if the ice survived in the bucket overnight. There's plenty of ice in northern New England, that's for sure. No, it melted, and the bucket has not runneth over. Ice in northern New England for the second time in 5 days. We have an ice storm going on in northern New England. In southern New England, this rainfall last night was an overachiever. I didn't think we'd get more than a 0.05 or 0.1. We got 0.22, and there's still rain coming. What a dramatic weather situation we have in North America right now. The fifth major coast-to-coast storm. Parade of March storms now turns into a parade of April storms. Here's the lightning imagery from first thing this morning. Texas, right across the Mississippi River into Tennessee and Kentucky, and right up into New England. How many people woke up to thunderstorms last night? And did that thunder come with snow and sleet? And Durham, New Hampshire last night. I didn't think it was going to snow like this. And weather remarks. Mark in Durham says, yeah, it snowed pretty hard for an hour in southeastern New Hampshire. And that was the leading edge of warmer air coming into New England with a warm front last night. But the cold, high-pressure system, how many times have we heard this, was reluctant to give way to the warmth. So instead you had the clash of the air masses. And this morning, first thing in the morning, most of our upper mountain lifts were not operating for 2 or 3 reasons. We did get an inch of snow that changed to sleet. Day 13, by the way, Stephen yesterday, weather remarks in Durham, that made day 12 in a row of New England snow. And then this morning, Carl Weller, calling the play-by-play out his deck this morning, says it was snowing with thunder around 3 in the morning that changed to sleet and then freezing rain. So that's day 13 in a row of New England snow. But it's all rain now in Vermont, except for in some of the higher elevations where it's still icing. And the gondola and the Forerunner quad are not operating at Stowe today due to the icing and the wind. On top of Mount Washington this morning at around 5 o'clock, when those thunderstorms were going by, the wind gusted to 94 miles an hour. Snow changed to sleet, changed to rain with a temperature of 27 degrees. It's nowhere near as significant as the ice storm on Saturday, but it is the second ice storm in 5 days, and we're talking springtime. And believe it or not, there are some more situations with ice upstream. Where do I start with making the forecast? I guess we should look at the local radar this morning and talk about this rain that's across parts of central New York. There's still thunderstorms ongoing as of 8 to 9 a.m. And those thunderstorms are going to move swiftly to the east. And I guess we could just go to the NAM. Actually, you know what? I think I want to show the upper levels first. How about this velocity azimuth display? Vertical winds above Burlington, Vermont. At the bottom there, those are the winds in the lowest 1,000 or 2,000 feet from the south at 10 to 20 knots, but then it ramps up really quickly, and obviously we're already past 50, 60 knots, up around 5,000, 6,000 feet. And at the very top there, those 2 yellow triangles with the 4 barbs, that's 140 knot wind at 40,000 feet. That's just about equivalent of just over the top of Mount Everest, and that's how tall these clouds are. And that wind up at the top of the atmosphere, that's 160 miles an hour, it causes suction upward, and that suction upward with all this rich moisture coming into New England and the battle zone between the advancing warmth and the departing cold is the reason we have thunderstorms this morning. It's electric. Oh, Steve is going on walkabout. Steve, I know you'd probably really enjoy it down there and over there, but I can't lose you. I'll get in trouble. So, yeah, you put it in reverse. Beep, 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 beep. You're going to go on this post, which was the post to the gate to the Kent pool that used to be right there, and the stairs that used to be right there. And, oh, boy, that's a bone of contention for sure. So what's going on next? All right, now we'll go to the NAM high res and call the play-by-play. This is the 6Z run, so it initialized early in the morning. We'll start it with sunrise there with that blue snow in Maine, and then the purple is sleet, and then the red is freezing rain. And this front that stretches down to Texas is going to shear apart, and that precipitation in northern New England will be gone by about noontime. At that time, some of those thunderstorms are coming into just about Boston and then falling apart. So through midday, we have this thunderstorm threat, but most of us are watching this video later on, and there's not much going on tonight. The wind is going to decrease tonight, and there is going to be a weak front. You can't even really make it out. It's the difference between the red lines, the warmer air, and the blue lines, the colder air. It's going to ease into northern New England tonight and tomorrow, much less windy, and tomorrow should be a pretty nice day in northern New England, but the southern end of the front is going to reactivate with rain coming across southern New England tomorrow, starting about 4 or 5 a.m. and then going through midday or so. And then tomorrow afternoon, most of us are all dry again. And then tomorrow night, there is weak cold air advection in northern New England. So a refreeze of the snowpack, but not a hard freeze. Make it good start on Saturday morning. If you want to go skiing at Mount Mansfield, show of hands? Yes, I do. But yeah, I might ski on a weekend this weekend. But it's going to rain again. Or is it going to be a wintry mix? There is the wintry mix coming back in. Now, this is Saturday morning, and we stop at Saturday at 2 p.m. That's as far as this goes out. And blue is snow, purple is sleet, red is freezing rain. What a wintry mix coming again. That will be the third time in 7 days that we have snow, ice, and rain in northern New England. And it's going to end up being warmer and wet Saturday after this afternoon, and that afternoon image right there, and into Sunday. And then next week, we're still eyeing some potential Arctic air, but the way it comes in is still a huge moving target. And I want to show the real upper level winds now. Talk about that wind up around 40,000 feet. Actually, this is 500 millibars. This is only about 18,000 feet. And you see that yellow and mustard there. This is the Euro. The yellow and mustard is 150 miles an hour down to 18,000 feet just to the north of New England. That creates a suction. When it's stronger wind to your north than it is to your south, it's going to create, that's called difluence aloft. Whenever you have a strong jet and it weakens on both sides, and difluence aloft creates lift, and you have the potent mixture of the southeastern ridge. You got a western trough. You've got air coming in off the Pacific. You got air coming from Canada, from the North Pole, and you got air coming from Central America. The triple stream all coming across the nation day after day of severe weather in the lower Mississippi River Valley, and perturbations here, mostly on the warmer side, until about Monday. Now we have the air coming in from Canada, and look at that split flow with the air coming out of the Gulf of Mexico to the south of us and the air coming in from Canada right over us. There's going to be a close phase. The northern stream and the southern stream may try and phase here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's been a real moving target. Do we get a storm? That would be if the two streams do phase. And then late in the period, it looks like we're going to have a flow kind of split, and then at day 10, which is now out to Saturday, March 12th, there's an upper level low cutoff, cold pool aloft, classic spring weather in the southeastern United States, and that could be anywhere in the eastern United States. And then the westerlies mostly lifting from the west coast up into Canada, and that would probably put the final cap on any wintry weather coast to coast in the North America continent, because that would be flooding the entire continent except for that cutoff low in the southeast with warmer air. And, winter has to end at some point here. Middle of April seems like a good time for it. Oh, Steve is walking the tightrope. Is that your tightrope, Steve? And you're just going to have to chill. Where do you want to go? You're going to have to stay there while I do the entire play-by-play. What else did I want to show? Ice storm, the severe weather outbreak, and the number of tornado warnings last night. I can't remember. Colin McCarthy, I think, posted this. All those little red spots there, those were the tornado warnings, and we ended up with a couple of dozen or 3 dozen tornadoes yesterday. And the Severe Storm Center says we're going to do it again today, but further south. But places like Arkansas, northern Louisiana are going to get these storms day after day after day, with the feed of energy coming in off the Pacific Ocean, and the cold coming in from the north, and the warmth in the southeastern United States. It takes cold as part of the equation, and to me, the cold air is really trying to fight back in its warming planet. All right, Steve, you're looking pretty handsome there. And I think we'll just let you sit there while I show the Euro model and there are some significant changes to when the cold comes in and how it comes in next week. But for now, it's kind of the same old story, except for the high pressure system coming in on the backside of this departing low. You can see it coming out of the Great Lakes. It's not a hard charge of chill. It's just enough chill here tomorrow night that this weather system coming in, our next one on Saturday, you can see it's mostly green, but there is a little bit blue in there and some red. That's that wintry mix coming in Saturday as a warm front comes back again, and that'll change the precipitation to all rain in New England on Saturday afternoon and Sunday. Looks like a pretty wet weekend. The best part of the weekend if you're trying to go skiing is the first part of Saturday and the second part of Sunday when the colder air starts coming back in. The blue lines are cold enough for snow, and it looks like on the departing rain, we don't have too much snow coming in here, but there'll be some upslope somewhere in there. And then here's where it gets really interesting. The Arctic air now looks like it's aimed more at the Great Lakes states. So now on Monday into Tuesday, we have a low coming out of the Great Lakes and another low south of New England. Boy, that's a close phase. If those two come together, then we get a pretty sizable winter-type storm here on Tuesday into Wednesday. But instead, look at this Tuesday night. There's a northern instability trough forecast. That's where very cold air comes from the northeast over southeastern Canada, and there's warmer air, but still cold aloft. And coming in from the west over New York. And I talked to Weir about this morning, and he says, I doubt that'll happen, especially in April. And I replied, well, I agree. The northern instability trough is a rare specimen. That would be very heavy snow in a very narrow band. And it usually happens in the middle of winter. Very rare that it happens in springtime, but very rare also that you're going to have back-to-back ice storms. So we are in a unique weather setup. And anyway, let's keep that going. The colder air is going to come in on Tuesday night and Wednesday with some snow in our mountains, whether it's a little or a lot, yet to be determined. And then instead of the low barometer cold, this is where it's really shifting around. Now it looks like a really high barometer cold Thursday into Friday. That's a 1038 high over New England. That'd be radiational cooling and potential record low temperatures Thursday and Friday, whereas a few days ago, it looked like that was going to be low barometer, but instead the low is to our south. Now, if we take it out to day 10, we're now at Saturday, March 12th, at 8 p.m., there's a nor'easter-looking storm there over the mid-Atlantic states. It's only about 1,008 millibar low, but it's a 1030 high that's over the Gulf of Maine, and so that would fuel that storm. And if you look closely, there's a little purple there in Virginia, West Virginia, marginally cold enough for rain and sleet in the mid-Atlantic states on April 12th. And we would just be on the cooler side of things here and mostly dry. But again, that thing could move 500 miles in another run and be totally right over us or totally out over the ocean. But needless to say, we are going to get into a colder wave next week. And, Steve is on Steve's Rock. That's what we call that. And day by day, I'm getting this yard a little bit more cleaned up. And what did I do yesterday? All right, I think that's the end of the weather. 13 minutes in. Thank you for coming. Now, for the end more. Yesterday was such a pretty day and a pretty cold day. I was monitoring the progress of the ice and the ice bucket, and T-Rex and I went for a walk, watching the grass turn green right before our very eyes and trying to identify some of the nests that were in the trees. My guess is those are mostly squirrels' nests, and what kind of birds we heard singing. I think I heard some robins and definitely some sparrows, but I don't know if you can hear the sparrows. And then the big dig here in Weymouth, the progress with the greening of the slopes, hydroseeding on the slopes, and then watching the cold air be overrun by the warmer air. That was that cloud that came in late in the day. So real interesting dynamic weather, always, every day it seems like. And so let's go to that and more from yesterday. Thanks for all the comments. Barbara down at Corporation Beach yesterday, and somebody in Pennsylvania saying you were having thunder last night. So happy to see that our viewers are coming from all around the Northeast, and appreciate it. And here's the and more from Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025. Pretty chilly day. Great hill. Zooming in, got to talk louder. Fun before the leaves fill in, looking at the different nests. I know the crows build their nests right as the leaves fill in. I'm not sure what kind of all the nests are, but you can see that there is also man-made stuff in there, like plastic. It's really interesting. I don't know what's going on there. Don't know what kind of nest that is. More nests. And then over here, is there a nestologist in the house, or is it with the green. I can see it with my eyes. There it is, but I can't see it through the camera that well. Is that a blue jay? Pretty day on the cold side. Is that a robin? You'd think I'd know all these things. I learn them and then I forget. And then you remind me. Sparrow? Yep, saw it. You see that, Rex? No snow. A grass bath will do. Better than mud. Yeah, he's a good boy. Grass is growing before our very eyes, turning green. Let's get some rough spots, but they'll fill in. Helpful that it's going to rain a couple inches between now and next week. I think we're probably done with the snow down here. Never say never, though. Some pretty cold air coming at us next week. Can hear some pretty heavy equipment down at the big dig. Luciano moving some boulders. Now goes the hydro seeding. Okay, look at that. It's all hydro seeded and covered up right there. Neat. And our revetment continuing around the corner. Can't see this part from our house. Hydro seed. Volvo. T-Rex. Out of the road. Rex, this way. Let's go to the edge. Let's check it out. I like that. Rex, this way. Come on. Yeah. Ready, jump. Green landscape. Very funny watching grass grow and stumps. Brilliant. Just brilliant. Look at these tulips all planted here some time ago by who knows who. Some daffodils. And T-Rex loves running back up the hill this way. All these things we've been doing since he was a puppy. Yeah, he's like challenging me. All right, Rex, stop. Because I gotta grab your leash. Stay. All right, let's go. How do you stay in shape for skiing? Chase T-Rex up the hill. I've seen a lot of daffodils. And by the way, that rabbit repellent, so far so good with these tulips, for the most part. And daffodils, which were actually up before Christmas, haven't bloomed yet. One little yellow flower. Whoop. In the backyard, I think there's still ice. 12:30, by the way. It's still not 40 degrees outside. Maybe the Euro was right that we don't get to 40. And yeah, the ice kind of rebuilt itself since this morning. I broke it, remember? And then I picked up the pieces and put them back because I didn't want to lose the H2O. So we still do have ice, but that'll be gone by tomorrow morning. which is now this morning, right? Because and more is from yesterday. So today's yesterday was Wednesday. This is Wednesday. Making and more for tomorrow, which is Thursday. And there's the skilled team we just watched setting the stone right over there from a different perspective. From a different perspective. Gotta yell when I'm zoomed in. p.m. There's Mitt. I just came downstairs to do a little work, and both Steve and Mitt tend to follow me down, but you're not ready to go out yet. You're going out at 5, but I'm going to go out right now just to do a little check of the time and the temperature at 3 p.m. We're 41 degrees, so I knew the Euro was a little too cold with its maximum high temperature, and the ice, it's still there, still hanging on, barely. It's a fun game to me. And there are the birds. There's a sparrow. I love birds. I just heard the mourning dove. The two of them hang out together. And the clouds are on the increase. Snow turned to sleet in Ontario this afternoon. That happens in northern New England tonight, which is now last night. Thin spot in the cloud. Looked like a snow cloud there for a while. And it still kind of does. Wind from the east. High pressure to our northeast. 6:20 p.m. and it is gray and it is chilly. And you would think that it could snow. There's definitely ice up in the sky with the maple buds popping. Here's the time lapse from Weymouth. Blue sky, cold air advection to begin the day. Clouds lower and thicken to completely gray by sunset. Wind from the east because the high went off to the east. Cape Cod, I'm thinking, is not much different. Blue sky turns gray. I think I may have to adjust this camera though, because the sun goes so high in the sky now. Maybe we'll point it more towards the north. And then gray to end the day. Brisk. And our Thursday ending up close to 20 degrees warmer than our Wednesday.